I'm going to just cover a couple of quick things. Thank you so much for giving me the time here. This is really important. Otherwise, we're just collecting listings and we think we're accomplishing something and we're not. And I have the years to share with you, 32 years of doing this. Hopefully it makes sense and hopefully you're ready to hear it, because sometimes there's different stages where sellers are not ready to hear it. Or you can be mad at me that it didn't sell yet. I don't know which one it is, but we're going to figure it out real quick. You have me at $750,000. I think that's 75%, with 36 months at 10% interest. We didn't write down any inventory, furniture, fixtures, equipment, because I didn't know it at the time we took the listing, but we have those items. And you have me at 8% with a $25,000 minimum. That's the crux of the listing. Let me go to the research. Buyer accepts all furniture, fixtures, equipment, leasehold, websites, phone numbers. It's all included, even though it wasn't at the top, but that's what people are buying. You can't buy people, you're buying the things that make the sales that create the profit. So I did 20 years back. I could have gone a little more narrow to see what's going on in the last year or two, which will probably be lower. And I came up with results of 2.12, call it 2 years earnings of 12 months. And the majority of those 20 years were in a healthy economy, not the 20th year, which is the current economy. This economy is off, all right, for the buyers and the sellers. Everyone's feeling it. So 75% down payment, 25% is recommended. Rent was at 5%. What is the purpose of me showing you that? This is the association ad. You have me at 220, which is the 20, these are the numbers that are signed off on, annualized, unless they've changed. But 19 pretty much proves that, that's pretty much what the business earns, even though you did more gross over here. And see, we do have the furniture, fixtures, equipment. And you really have to consider used value, not new value. If you went to sell it bulk on eBay or an auction or something like that, is it really worth $300 or is that a new, invoice price? And leasehold, you've been there for a long time. It's not really $250. If you paid $250, it's going to be worth less because it maybe needs remodeling or painting or holes in the wall or new light fixtures, whatever. Forgetting about that, this is my concern. If somebody needs to make $220, do they have to pay $750? And does it make any sense? Because once they pay $750, are they really making $220? On an SBA loan, if your profits were on your tax returns, which I don't seem to remember that they were, which if they're not, it lets out all of SBA lending, which means we can only deal with seller financing, which is why this is important, or somebody that has the cash. Well, there's a very small percentage of people walking around with $750 that need to pay $750 to make $220. And they're going to ask, is that $750 better spent somewhere else where they can make $350 or $400, or maybe they'll open their own business and not have to part with that $750. So if they're borrowing it, there's a debt service. And if they have it just sitting around, someone happens to have $1 million laying around, they're not stupid. They're pretty smart people. So they want to see a return on their money. Is this the best return? I would argue it's not. I would say they can open up their own place with brand new equipment. They'll have smaller adjusted net, but they won't have this burden. 10 years, let's just say, SBA financing is $75,000 plus 4.5 interest and 4.5 SBA. Call it 10% above the 75. Make it $80,000. How do you pay $80,000 out of here and still keep $220? Well, you don't. So now you're down to minus 80. So then you say, okay, look at the differential between, okay, now I have debt service that the current owner doesn't have because I have to buy it. And the ratio becomes even further apart. Because now you're making $140 for $750. So do the math on that. It's even a bigger ratio when you're talking like that. All right, so I think that this is a problem. You can't do anything about the 220. If you're flexible and if you're motivated, we got to listen to the buyers and the buyers' agents. Buyers are telling us they're not interested. And the agents are saying, I'm not going to cooperate with your listing agent, which is why you have a listing agent. Because I have all these friends that I have to motivate. And we need to do it. So that's what it is. It's a big place. We're in a recession. You said you want to sell. Now we're going to see how much you really want to sell. And look, $6,000, that would be seller financing. That's a piece of it. The other piece is your financials. January to September, right? These were your numbers. And I annualized it and you approved it. So we're back to the 220. How much is someone going to pay to make 220? That's really the question. It's a lifestyle that we're selling. It's not equipment. It's got nothing to do with that. So here's my summary. Overpriced. We're currently at 3.4 valuation from my seller. We're 60 days in the market. Thousands of people have seen all of my ads. Thousands of people have been communicated with us. We're everywhere. Anywhere there's a buyer, that's where we are. And I'm even in the association, but I think when we talk about the commission issue, that'll help get more eyeballs, even more eyeballs, and somebody nudging them to say, hey, come look at this listing my colleague has, which I don't have right now. We're asking $750 down payment. If it was 20% SBA, they'd put up $150, they'd carry $600 at 10% for 10 years. You start doing the math on that, and now you're netting $150. So you're really netting $150 when you take out the cost of the money if they were able to get a loan. And I think we have to exclude all the SBA people because they're not on the tax returns. So that brings us back to seller financing. So you got to make it attractive with a smaller down payment in order to make the deal work without a bureaucracy and red tape and holidays and all that. You just say, okay, seller financing, and we write it up and we get it done in 30 days. Otherwise, you're 2 months out to find out you didn't get appraised at $750 and the buyer backs out. And then we're back to square one in March. I had an air conditioning guy just like this. And same kind of thing. He says, I'm not going to tie myself up for 4 months to learn that the SBA isn't going to approve because I don't have the proper tax return. He'll offer seller financing. That's the way you deal with it. So that's the pricing issue. This was your gross. This is your net. You're asking 3.4. I mean, you're not consciously doing it, but that's what it comes out to on my calculator. For the 220 numbers, which are the numbers that banks and buyers are looking at to project what are they buying into for the future, 2021, 22, 23. And the historic solds, 279 days on market, and a lot of that is because sellers are doing what we're doing here, and they're, some make the adjustment, some don't. 279 sold, and the average is 2 years, 0.12. Now, I could be a little more specific with my search, but I'm pretty comfortable with 2 times the adjusted net. I think that's a realistic number. Now that I have your actual numbers, I can go back and do another search, as many as you want. But the way I see it, we're $282,000 overpriced. They could buy 2 businesses, my friend, for the price, and each business will have an adjusted net. So no one's going to make this kind of a mistake. Not if they have a professional helping them, and not if they have the money because they're too smart. So either way, they're not going to give you an extra $300,000. That's my opinion. I think we need to shave this off. The 3.4, we got to get rid of 1.28. We're overpriced. And as far as the commission, 8% versus 12, we have to offer 50-50 by the bylaws of the association. I can't just offer the buyer more than the listing agent. It doesn't work like that. 12% is 6%, attracts more buyers. 50% of 8 is very low. And as you can see, there's a $10,000 difference if it was priced properly. 4% is not attracting the buyer's agents, which if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it, but it's not going to get us sold because you hired me to get it sold. We put 2 months into it. I'm prepared to put another 10 months into it, and I want to get it sold. And I'm trying to help all of us get that to happen. 6 versus 4 is 50%. Summary. Look at it from the agent's point of view. If they've been working with a buyer for 6 to 18 months, that buyer and the agent know that 3.4 times or 3.5 times or 10 times, the ratio, what is my return on my capital? And can I get a loan or do I need a loan? If they need a loan, now you're down to a very small percentage of people that have $1 million in cash. And they don't make mistakes. They make less mistakes. They're A students. Here, 220, they would be expecting, if my numbers are correct, which I believe they are, at 2 times 6%, which would be the 12%, they would be expecting between the broker, their overhead, and the agent and their overhead, $28,000 to bring me the buyer that I'm looking for to get you a fair price. And if we did it your way, they're going to use a calculator and see $18,000. Well, if that buyer is just as happy with something offering 12% elsewhere, they're going to bring it to go get their 28, not their 18. So they're giving up $10,000. Why? There's an abundance of business owners that want to sell. 1 out of every 5 businesses right now, they're shuttering their doors. Look at restaurants. Look at cruise lines. Look at airlines. I beat this up enough. I see that we're fighting 2 wars. Buyers are seeing overpriced, and they're not contacting the listing agent. Those are the ones that are coming retail that I have in my pocket already. I'm not able to motivate them effectively because we put a wall up. It's too high of a wall. And buyers' agents also see that we're overpriced. We're not offering a competitive commission for their work, their time, their marketing, and their leads, and their buyers. I'll do whatever you want. You don't have to do anything. I'm not trying to pressure you, but if I don't say anything, I don't think I'm doing my job because I'm not helping you. And if you sincerely want to sell, which is usually the reason people list the business, then I need to share with you what it is that I see, because then it's like malpractice if I just lead you to believe that it's actually working, because I don't think it's working to its fullest. So if you want maximum exposure, I'm showing you how to do it. Let's be reasonable for the buyers. Let's be reasonable for the agents. Let's get activity. Let's get offers. Let's hear what the buyers have to say and accept some offers. the percentage doesn't matter if you don't accept it. So at least let's be in the right ballpark. You have an opportunity to get out, because even when you find the buyer, you're still a couple of months away from actually getting it sold. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.